Hey everyone, we're back talking off-season moves that you might have missed in the spring and summertime without football. This video, we're talking about key additions and departures within the AFC West, starting with the team that came in first in the AFC West last year, the Kansas City Chiefs, losing to the Bengals in the AFC Championship last year. Looking to see how this team rebuilds and try to make another Super Bowl run. For the key additions, getting Juju Smith-Schuster to replace the key departure and Tyreek Hill was big, as this departure for Hill leaves a huge hole at wide receiver in this offense. Really, the only guy in wide receiver on this team, Tyreek Hill, that was producing at his position. Obviously, having Travis Kelce at tight end, being as big as a receiving threat as he is, helps. But without Hill, there was a huge hole in this offense that Juju Smith-Schuster looks to fill. Plays a different type of position, wide receiver, than Tyreek Hill. Is more of a slot receiver, but nevertheless, I think he'll fit in this offense nicely. And Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will figure out how to utilize his skill set like they do every other skill position player on this team. Also, wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which kind of piecemeals their way into Tyreek Hill, him being the burner, they run down the field and go catch the 80-yard bomb, Patrick Mahomes, and Juju Smith-Schuster being the more shifty slot receiver. Franchise tagging Orlando Brown was big for this team as they start to rebuild this offensive line from 2 years ago. Very good additions last year in Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey, the rookie center, who was a Pro Bowler. Now getting Orlando Brown, who's been a great tackle for some time now, really hunkers down this offensive line. That should be a strength. And then Frank Clark, putting him in that defensive line next to Chris Jones is huge, as this defense seems to be getting worse and worse each year. They could not have afforded to lose Clark, and it's a good thing they got to reach a 2-year deal with him. Love what the Chiefs did in the first round, getting 2 first-round draft picks, both on the defensive side of the football, where they desperately need help. As you can see, they lost some guys, some big losses when their best cornerback in Charvarius Ward, and obviously their best safety, one of the best in the league, Tyrann Mathieu, and Daniel Sorensen, who plays a hybrid safety linebacker position for this team. All in all, not the worst offseason I've seen. They did take care of some key spots, but this defense is slipping a little bit, so I give the Chiefs a B+ for their offseason. Going to the team that just barely made the playoffs last year, the Raiders at 10-7, losing to the Bengals, just like the Chiefs, but this time in the wild card round. I love what they did this offseason, giving them an offseason grade of an A. Huge things. I mean, once you sign the best receiver in football, Davante Adams, especially a 5-year deal, hard to have a bad offseason. But you pair him up with Hunter Renfrow that you gave a 2-year extension at the slot receiver, and then Darren Waller at the receiving position at tight end. This is going to be a scary trio on offense. But equally as impressive is what the Raiders managed to do on the defensive side of the football. Obviously, extending the all-pro Max Crosby defense end was huge, but then adding Chandler Jones, who's been one of the most consistent and solid DNs in football, especially in terms of pass rushing, to go on the opposite side of Max Crosby, makes a very dangerous D line there in Las Vegas, especially for opposing quarterbacks during the pass rush. And then Bilal Nichols, defensive tackle for the Bears, who is a very underrated run-stopping tackle in this league. I really like that pickup. Not a name that's going to turn a lot of heads, but certainly if you know of Bilal Nichols' work, you know it's a good signing for the Raiders. No first-round draft pick this year, but honestly, when you get guys like in the offseason that the Raiders did, you can live with that. Some key departures, they're losing some guys at wide receiver, Bryan Edwards, Zay Jones, Deshaun Jackson, their deep threat. Not ideal, but, when you got Adams, Renfrow, and Waller not catching the ball, you really don't care. Losing a bit of pass rushing ability with Carl Nassib and Yannick Ngakoue leaving. But again, when you get Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, who really cares? Cornerback in the secondary position is a little bit of an area of concern for me for this Raiders team, losing longtime veteran safety Casey Hayward, who's definitely lost a step or two, but still one of the better defensive cornerbacks on this team. Leaves them a little bit thin on the defensive secondary position, but overall, this Raiders offense is going to be really tough to compete with. And I think they got some solid guys on defense, especially in their front seven, offseason grade of an A. Not to be outdone by the Raiders. The Chargers had an absolutely tremendous offseason, giving them an A+. Part of that is due to the signings and additions they had, but more so than anything, they had very little departures of significance. Only one I really batted an eye at was Brian Bulaga at offensive tackle, but they already have one of the best centers in the league, Corey Linsley, Rashawn Slater, their first-round draft pick at tackle last year, stepped up and exceeded everyone's expectations. And then this year, in the first round, they drafted guard Zion Johnson out of Boston College. If they can get half of Rashawn Slater's production out of Zion Johnson, this is going to be a very scary, good offensive line of football. Mike Williams, a good extension there. I think that he fits really well in this offense at wide receiver, being a big go up and get it receiver. But what really impressed me was what the Chargers did on the defense side of the football. Trading for Khalil Mack, a deal that I was really shocked to see go through, just wasn't really on my radar because the Chargers already have one of the best defensive ends in football with Joey Bosa. Now you pair him with Khalil Mack, and his D-line is suddenly even scarier for opposing quarterbacks than the Raiders D-line that I just mentioned. And then Derwin James really great in the secondary at safety for them. They add one of the best cornerbacks in recent memory in J.C. Jackson to a big 5-year deal. I think the back end of that deal, they're not going to get a lot of production out of Jackson, at least for what they're paying him. But this is a Chargers team that is in win now mode with a great defensive front seven, a little thinner at linebacker, but great in the D line. Bryce Callahan joining these guys in the secondary. And this team is suddenly one of the scariest teams in football after a tremendous offseason. I can almost guarantee if this team is healthy, they will be making the playoffs this next season. And then the Broncos, who went a surprising 7-10 last year in a very competitive AFC West with which is very good given the quarterback play and inconsistency that they had. I really think this is a very solid, well-rounded team, and really what they were missing is a quarterback. I think management had the same idea because they went out and traded the house. They gave Russell Wilson, he's had 2 years left in his deal. This is definitely a Broncos team that thinks they're in win-now mode with how much talent they have outside of the quarterback position. Really good young wide receiver and running back talent on this team. It sucks to see Tim Patrick, an up-and-coming wide receiver on this Broncos team, tears ACL in preseason, but I'm really excited to see what Jerry Jeudy can do this season. I think he's going to really turn some heads and exceed a lot of people's expectations for him. Also on the defensive side of the football, especially in the secondary, that's one of the Broncos' strengths. They didn't have to do too much, but going and getting Kwan Williams, cornerback from the Niners previously, is big. Pair him along with second-year cornerback Patrick Surtain and along with Justin Simmons at safety over the top. This is a very solid secondary. And then you add Randy Gregory on the opposite side of the DM position with Bradley Chubb. Chubb, who's really good at both the pass rush and the run defense. It would be a good pairing with Randy Gregory, who's just a pass rush specialist. Not a ton of key departures for the Broncos. Losing Noah Fant in that trade for Wilson was a necessary departure they had to do. Bobby Massey and Cameron Fleming, losing them at tackle will be of significance. That's the one area of weakness I'm a little bit concerned about with the Broncos is their offensive line. Lost a couple key guys in the secondary with Bryce Callahan, who I really like as a slot cornerback, and Kyle Fuller played a good role for them. But again, you got Surtain stepping up in his second year and Kwan Williams to fill in too. Not too big of an issue. Overall, Broncos did what they had to do. They got a quarterback. They filled in the departures for their cornerback. Only thing that I think they left untouched in the offseason was addressing their offensive line. Other than that, flawless offseason, giving the Broncos an A in the offseason. And that is the AFC West. I thought this division was one of the most improved in football and will be the most competitive division in football. It'll be interesting to see who is atop the AFC West at the end of the season, because if you told me right now any of those 4 teams would be the winner of the AFC West division, I wouldn't be all that surprised. It's going to be very intriguing to see what all the talent around the football comes out on top in the AFC West. Hope you enjoyed that video. Give it a like if you enjoyed this content. Trying to make sure you guys stay up to date with all the offseason moves, and definitely subscribe to the channel to keep seeing other offseason moves in different divisions, and as well as the other additional content I keep putting out. Thanks, guys.